Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Donington Park, and welcome to a slightly damp Miata Trophy race number 1. We are about to get racing action underway for the first time this weekend. Miata Trophies, the convertibles, out there just as the rain comes back. Myself, Jack Werrell, guiding you through all of the action this weekend, joined by Mark Werrell. We'll run you through the grid in just a few moments' time. But Mark, probably not the cars you want as the rain starts to fall.
No, not at all. Rear-wheel drive cars, reasonable amount of power. We saw them in qualifying, sort of getting into a few little angles and out of shape a few occasions. But a good race will lie ahead, a 20-minute race for the Miata Trophy. And it will be their 7th round of the championship, the first of 2 races that we've got for them today. So lots to look forward to. Yeah,
lots to look forward to. Lining up on pole position after a very successful qualifying indeed. Car number 63, Ollie Allwood. He has Tyler McAlpin alongside. Row 2 is James Cossins and Aidan Hills. Alongside Aidan Hills is on row 3 of the grid is Declan Lee alongside Alex Miller. Row 4 is made up of Chris Dawkins, and Brian Chandler. Row 5, Will Morris has Nicholas Stott for company, and on row 6 it's Colin Bysouth and Jack Brewer. On row number 7 it's John Robinson and Jack Hodges. Back to row 8, Will Powell has John Langridge alongside. Drew Fletcher has David Chapman alongside on row 9 of the grid, and on row 10 it's Jack Hargraves and Kamal Kelsey. Row 11 of the grid is Neil Bullen and David Robinson. Ed McDermott lines up alongside Ian Abel on row number 12. Row 13 is David Newick and Jasmine Sherrington. All on his own on row number 14 is Mark Stepney, and a couple of rows back, Benjamin Taylor joins us on row number 17 as he is in an ND Maxi class, which means that the car isn't completely compliant with Miata Trophy specs. So he has to start off the tail end of the order. But one thing's guaranteed, Mark, a close race.
One thing is guaranteed, yeah, a close race for this one for sure. The one thing I think is also guaranteed is John Langridge to make progress, because the reigning champion only qualified 16th quickest, or 17th actually, because the car of Ben Taylor was faster than him in qualifying. But the champion will line up in 16th position on the grid. And I'm not quite sure why John Langridge was so far down in qualifying. It just didn't seem to happen for him. So had they set the car up for dry conditions and they weren't expecting it to rain? It was sort of in between wet and dry. It was greasy, wasn't it, for their qualifying session? Yeah. And it slowly got wetter as the session wore on.
Yeah, his season isn't exactly going to plan. As you say, reigning champion at the moment. He had a really good first race at Snetterton. Race 2 didn't make it to the end. Silverstone race 1 was there or thereabouts. Race 2 was an improvement. Brands Hatch, either he didn't attend or he didn't finish race 1, and we didn't have race 2. So John Langridge has got a lot of making up to do, but that's something that's so difficult in the Miata Trophy because it is so tightly fought. Cars arriving on the grid. Who am I going to put my money on for this one? As the temperature 20 degrees, it's nice and warm, albeit the rain continues to fall. Ollie Allwood, very quick in qualifying, very potent in very similar conditions. I want to say Aidan Hills because he's had a stellar year so far, effectively a clean sweep. But Declan Lee and Alex Miller, that's a very quick row 3.
Yes, I think making progress will be Aidan Hills, only 4th quickest in qualifying, but was 2.2 seconds shy of the pole time for a man who's been unbeaten so far this year. Yep. I'm scratching my head a little bit with that one. It can only have been the changeable conditions. The way they set the car up wasn't what actually then the conditions were when they were out there. Yeah,
the first sort of 5 laps were the quickest part of the session, and after that there was simply no opportunity for improvement just because of how wet it got. So as the field continues to form up, we've got, as we said, 28 cars on the grid, and every season the Miata Trophy just goes from strength to strength, and it's brilliant to see. Waving at us is Ed McDermott, either waving at us or waving at somebody in the grandstand. We got a thumbs up, so I think he was waving at us. But Ed McDermott popping up to see us earlier on, forever a character. It's great to great to see Ed out there. And it's nice to see it attracts drivers from all steps of motorsport. The green flag has been waved. We wait for the red lights to show. 5-second board has been held aloft. It's going to be a quick hold. Red lights go on, and as they go out, we go racing for the first time today. Declan Lee stalls, doesn't go anywhere. Hopefully he's spotted by everybody else that's filing through. Manages to get the car struck back into life, but that's not the start he will have wanted. He will be right towards the tail end of the order. It was a good start from Aidan Hills, who goes to the outside. He's on the unpolished line. Ollie Allwood, pole sitter. He's tumbling down the order. He's down into the best part of 4th place at the moment. The majority picked their way through turn one cleanly. A couple of cars running wide and dipping a wheel into the grass. But I think is that James Cossins or Tyler McAlpin that's worked his way into the lead? Or is it going to be Aidan Hills all the way around the outside through the crater curves? It took 2 corners.
I did say I didn't think it would take too long before he made some good progress. Tyler McAlpin there in second position. I think the car that ran wide at Redgate corner was Declan Lee, having stalled on the grid, then made a bit of progress and then ran wide. So Declan Lee, who lies third in the championship standings, failed to finish outside of the top 6 so far this year, has got some work to do. But it is Aidan Hills who leads the way from Tyler McAlpine in second position. And in third place, that's James Cossins, isn't it, that sits there in third place. Everybody, though, in these tricky conditions, safely through the first half a lap at least.
I would say John Langridge has made up some good spots because he's just gone through and passed Will Morris, who started in 9th. John Langridge started 16th, so I think he's had a very good opening lap to the race. And, of course, he will want to make up as many points as possible. Aidan Hill's doing what he can to defend on the running towards the Fogarty S's. He's got the number 10 of Tyler McAlpin applying all the pressure. Very brave from James Cossins, braking on the curb. But he can't afford to give up any time as pole sitter Ollie Allwood will try and make up for the poor start. Slightly sideways in the background is Brian Chandler, keeping the Mark IV MX-5 under his spell. John Langridge has definitely gained places. Declan Lee, what a comeback drive. He's already halfway through the field now, Mark. Keep an eye on Declan Lee for the latter part of this race. Aidan Hills with a differing line. Brian Chandler sideways on the exit of the Melbourne hairpin. It's very, very close indeed up at the front. And Aidan Hills, whilst he may be defending, he's got Tyler McAlpin defending behind him as well. Who goes to the inside as James Cossins tries to look around the outside. There was almost contact between the pair of them. There's a bit of a shuffle. Aidan Hills gets a brilliant run out of the final corner. Now Tyler McAlpin, he's gone from attack to defence as they're side by side with James Cossins on the run towards Redgate.
Yeah, up towards Redgate corner they go. Tyler McAlpine, though, has the inside line. James Cossins, though, the favoured outside line, is going to be there by the time they even get towards Redgate corner. So James Cossins now up into second position, which is where he lies in the championship standings coming into this weekend. The reigning champion, John Langridge, as you say, making brilliant progress through the order. He's now up inside, I think, the top 10. There's a big moment, isn't it, for James Cossins right the way down through the Craner curves. It was at the top of Hollywood where the car got away from him a bit. Lots of arm twirling, just kept it under his spell.
Yeah, Brian Chandler now coming under pressure from Jack Brewer as they head through the old hairpin. Declan Lee, who was shuffled down to 28th place, is now back up into 13th. What a brilliant comeback drive that was on the first lap from him after just a small mistake leaving the line, stalled the car. He's managed to carve his way through the order. John Langridge up 5 places on the opening lap, up into 11th. He's now trying to work his way through and past the number 11 machine of Chris Dawkins. Past that is Nico Stott, who will be the next target for him. But what a brilliant battle we've got between Brian Chandler and Jack Brewer. They head through Coppice together. Just off the back of those is Colin Bysouth, who's giving chase. Aidan Hills at the front has now got a bit of space between himself and what is now James Cossins, as James Cossins managed to work his way through and past Tyler McAlpin. So Tyler McAlpin is down into third. Ollie Allwood, he's got 16 and a quarter minutes remaining in this race. He can let the race come to him. There's no need to push just as of yet, but he doesn't want to wait too long because Aidan Hill's lead, he's just building up a bit of a margin. And Declan Lee, he's continued to carve his way through the order. He's now going to be inside the top 10. He's got past John Langridge and he's got past Will Morris. He's almost on the tail of the leaders, bearing in mind he's stalled and was in 28th place at the very start of the race.
Yeah, it's absolutely, red mist has descended, isn't it? And he's giving it everything to try and make up the ground that he lost when the lights went out. He'll be just coming up towards the braking area for Goddard, nips his way up the inside of Nicholas Stott, so that's going to be another place gained. He could be up to 8th by the end of this lap. So through and over the start-finish line, Aidan Hills leads the way from James Cossins in second place. Looks as though third place is being disputed, and it is going to be through into third position and place gained there for the number 63 car, which is another car that's made progress, isn't it? Oliver Allwood, having lost out in the first few laps, he's slowly starting to carve his way back in towards position, and he has managed to now squeeze his way through and past Tyler McAlpine. So the two cars that qualified first and second are running down in third and fourth at the moment, aren't they?
They are indeed. Declan Lee on that lap through in 9th place and is now closing in on Alex Miller, who started alongside him on the third row of the grid, who has dropped down a couple of places. Aidan Hills at the front, he's just starting to extend that margin. A bit of a wobble as they head through Schwantz Curve before you dive on the brakes in towards McLean's. Slightly tentative this time, I think, just due to how slippery that section of circuit can be. Brian Chandler still under pressure from Jack Brewer. Back from Jack Brewer is Colin Bysouth, and then we get the battle between Alex Miller and Declan Lee. John Langridge just struggling in the conditions and struggling with the circuit today. Brian Chandler through Pompey's corner, appears over the crest. Declan Lee going for the wider line, hopefully not too wide, keeps the car within that grip window and has really closed in on Colin Bysouth. He could be looking for another move here at the moment. All of a sudden, Aidan Hill's lead, it's come down again, hasn't it?
It has come down again, and Brian Chandler's under pressure from Jack Brewer as well. The yellow and the light blue and the red car, the number 93 car, trying to sneak his way through. Jack Brewer's another one of those that's made good progress. Qualified 12th, now running in 6th and looking for 5th position as they head into the braking area for the Melbourne hairpin. But you're absolutely right. Aidan Hills, who looked as though he'd made the break away from James Cossins, half a lap later, all of a sudden is back under pressure for the lead of the race. So the leading pair just coming up towards the completion of lap number 3 this time through. Aidan Hills was leading the beginning of this lap by 1.2 seconds. It's going to be probably around about half a second, maybe 0.8 of a second this next time through as they head over the start-finish line. As for the progress of the car that stalled on the grid, Declan Lee, well, I don't think he's gained another place on this lap, but he's now caught the next batch of cars that he wants to try and get through and past.
He has indeed. Alex Miller will be the first of 2, but also involved in that is Colin Bysouth. Declan Lee goes to the inside, which will open the door for Alex Miller. Or will open the door on Alex Miller, but Alex with the outside line manages to find the extra grip, and Declan Lee has to hold station 4 now. He doesn't want to wait too long as Will Morris has started to close in yet more. So it's a good little train, that, isn't it, for the final few spots inside that top 10. As a sort of a group of 4, they will want to close in on Jack Brewer and Brian Chandler, who are having their own battle. Alex Miller going slightly defensive. That will just wash him wide, all sorts of out of shape through the gravel at the bottom end of the old hairpin. I don't know whether there was contact, but Alex Miller manages to get the car collected up, and I think maybe just in eagerness to get the car slowed down whilst defending, it just washed him wide. Declan Lee, the next target for him, Colin Bysouth in the very fetching liveried Miata Trophy car, and all over the curb, and that's not really something you do, but Declan Lee gets away with it. Again, that car control we saw in qualifying, it's back for the race.
It is, yep. So the green car of Declan Lee trying to attack and defend at the same time. If he tries something and it doesn't work, then he's going to put himself under pressure. And also under pressure for the lead of the race now is Aidan Hills as they come in towards the braking area for the Fogarty S's on lap number 4. We still got 12 minutes of this race plus a little bit of change remaining. Declan Lee leads the way. The number 24 car of James Cossins is still with him in second position, and even though these two cars are fighting, they're not getting caught by the next car behind, which is going to be the pole sitting car of Oliver Allwood. His car is largely that white car, but with the yellow, the orange, the red, the blue flashes all the way along it. So it's a pair for the lead. I think it will become a trio, because I think the intensity of the squabble for the lead will only get higher, and that might just allow the pole sitter, Oliver Allwood, to begin to close in.
Yeah, you should expect that Ollie Allwood will, with the pace displayed in qualifying. A big lunge in the background, however, going into the final corner. Jack Brewer to the inside of Brian Chandler. They remain as they are. They appear into shot now going on to the start-finish line, but that big move has slowed them both down, and now Declan Lee is looking for a move, so it's effectively the mid-pack that's formed a train. Declan Lee tries to find some room on the outside on the run in towards Redgate corner, but just nips his way onto the grass and gets away with it. That could have gone a lot worse for Declan Lee. Somehow he got away with driving on the grass whilst on the brakes.
Yeah, it was sort of half a tyre width, wasn't it, onto the grass on the way in towards Redgate corner. You could see the cars moving around down through Hollywood and the Craner curves. Declan Lee using all of the curbs as well through the left-hand aspect of Craner, and he's now going to try around the outside of Jack Brewer as they head in towards the old hairpin, all the way around the outside, takes the place away, and he's now got momentum. He's got 2 wheels on the grass as he now tries to nip up the inside of Brian Chandler, and gets very sideways out of shape. If Brian Chandler tries to squeeze him at the wheel of the Mark IV, and Declan Lee, from gaining a place, is in danger of losing another one, because Jack Brewer's now back in full attack mode once more. Declan Lee bounces off the side of Brian Chandler, who waves his arm to say, come on, let's just calm things down a little bit. And Jack Brewer's now trying around the outside at Coppice corner. Wow, that's a brilliant squabble, isn't it? But they did bounce off each other on more than one occasion down there.
They did indeed. Those lock stops are getting some work on Declan Lee's car, aren't they? As he gets squeezed onto the curb once again. Looking to the outside now is Declan Lee. Will he look for a move on the inside, later on the brakes, potentially on the run in towards the Fogarty S's? He's on the polished section of the circuit, so you'd imagine the braking performance isn't brilliant, but he manages to fly through and picks up another place. That leaves Brian Chandler back into the clutches of Jack Brewer. Will Morris has been watching this all unfold in front of him. John Langridge appears out of nowhere. He's now trying to work his way through and past Colin Bysouth. He's been flying somewhat under the radar, has John Langridge. We expected the progression through the order to close in, and we've just seen a change for the lead as James Cossins dives to the inside of Aidan Hills, but Aidan Hills gets much better traction on the exit of the final corner and will hold on to the lead as they have 9.5 minutes remaining in this race, the first race of the weekend, and Aidan Hills on the brakes in towards Redgate will hold on to the lead for now. Declan Lee having got through and past that of Brian Chandler. Brian Chandler is now going to lose out to Jack Brewer as they come over the start-finish lines. Also there is Will Morris, who's in the wheel tracks of Jack Brewer. We're going to go 3 wide on the run in towards turn 1. Will Morris on the inside decides better of it. However, Brian Chandler, he's getting roughed up here, isn't he?
He is getting roughed up a little bit. Bit of hipping helmet. Look how sideways coming out of Redgate corner Declan Lee was. He was at 45 degrees to the circuit for a huge amount of time, and he's lost 3 places as a result. Jack Brewer goes through, Brian Chandler goes through, and also then the other car goes through as well, which is going to be the one of number
Morris.
17, isn't it? Yeah, so Morris goes through, but that was a huge save from him, wasn't it? All that hard work from Declan Lee all came unravelled rather quickly.
But while style points don't count to championship points, somehow he kept that car pointing the right way. That has unleashed Jack Brewer now. He's through and away. Brian Chandler soaking up the pressure from Will Morris, who picked up a win towards the tail end of last year at Brands Hatch and said there was more to come. He's got the pace to hold on to those positions inside that top 10. Jack Brewer is trying to make good his escape from Brian Chandler and leave him defending from Will Morris. Declan Lee will want to make up for that mistake. You can see he's pushing hard all over the grass, almost overdriving now, you'd say, for Declan Lee, just desperate to try and make up for not only a poor start, but then a small mistake thereafter. Will Morris absolutely on the tail of Brian Chandler. Declan Lee in turn the same to Will Morris as they head through the Fogarty S's. Declan Lee gets a really good run, not only on Will Morris, but also on Brian Chandler, but also on Jack Brewer. 3 wide on the run in towards the hairpin. How is this going to work? Declan Lee's on the extreme outside, Brian Chandler's on the extreme inside. They all dive on the brakes. Jack Brewer just about manages to get the car slowed down. Is Declan Lee going to go around the outside of all 3 of them? Maybe so, but unfortunately we've lost Ed McDermott in the gravel at the bottom of the old hairpin. We'll wait to see what's happened with that other battle. Declan Lee, 3 places gained in the space of 1 corner, and Will Morris is trying to do the same. Jack Brewer tried to make good his escape. He ran away from Brian Chandler, a small mistake, and they're still scrapping it away. A bit of contact between the pair of them, but Declan Lee is then ahead of Will Morris stroke Brian Chandler as they go over the line together. Jack Brewer's now trying to get in on the mix, so almost 3 wide on the run in towards turn 1. You simply can't pick between them.
You look at the TSL timing screen for that lap. Declan Lee started the lap in 5th. He finished the lap in 5th. That doesn't quite tell the story of what happened on that lap.
No, absolutely not. But Declan Lee is now to the front of that section. Brian Chandler with an arm in the air just to let the drivers know behind that the yellow flag is out. It will be a single yellow before a double waved yellows as marshals are there to the aid of that of Ed McDermott, who is back rolling now, so he will return to the race, albeit a lap down. And now we can finally take a breath.
I've got to say, brilliant work by the marshals to get Ed McDermott's car out of harm's way, but also hats off to the drivers, Will Morris and Brian Chandler, both with their arms aloft there as soon as they saw the yellows, to forewarn the drivers behind. Look, if you haven't seen it, just back off for the moment because we're going into a yellow flag zone. And in these tricky conditions, that's exactly what you want, isn't it? So good driving from them all.
Yeah, so Aidan Hills with the fastest lap of the race last time through, 2-minute 4.219. It feels like forever since we spoke about the leaders, as this has been a brilliant battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place, and basically 9th now as well, because John Langridge is closing in on Jack Brewer. He looks to the inside on the brakes towards the Fogarty S's. Is he going to make it work? Yes, he is. So John Langridge up another place. He's up into 8th now. Started in what was 16th. He's made steady progress, hasn't he? But it's been steady but safe progress, whereas you've seen the wars that have been going on elsewhere, and now Declan Lee has lost out to Will Morris.
Declan Lee snatching the brakes, going in towards the Melbourne hairpin, a bit of cadence braking just to try and stop the wheels from locking, but he put his foot on the brakes again, and it locked for a second time, so he's just lost a little bit of time to the all-black car of Will Morris, the number 17 car that just lies ahead of him. Still 5 minutes of the race to go. We've now got under pressure Colin Bysouth, who has got all the way around the outside of him. Alex Miller trying to make progress at the wheel of the black car with the Dayglow. Oh, sorry, the black car with the gold rollover hoop. And those two are running side by side down the start-finish straight as they head in towards Redgate Corner. It will be Alex Miller that has the inside line, which is usually the favoured line, but that's in dry conditions, and therefore the outside line, and what Colin Bowsouth has got, is the one that is favoured in the wet conditions, and I think he's going to take the place away as they head on to Hollywood. Yes, the number 888 car with its Dayglow pink flashes goes through.
It does indeed. So as those two continue to battle, that gives Jack Brewer a bit of chance to catch his breath, as he's been fighting away with John Langridge, Brian Chandler, Declan Lee and Will Morris, who are still fighting away. Colin Bowsouth with armfuls of opposite lock down at the old hairpin. That just kills his momentum before the hill as they head through Schwann's Curve. Will Morris now back under pressure from Declan Lee, who's trying to fight back as they head through McLean's, all the way around the outside. He tries to make it work. It's the bravery on the curbs, which you just shouldn't have in these wet conditions. He's held onto the grass and onto the painted tarmac. How he's getting away with it, I don't know.
Every time you look at Declan Lee, you think there's an accident around the corner, but it's just not happened. He is driving superbly well, albeit he's pushing the limits on a few occasions. Aidan Hills still leads the way, but only just still from James Cousins as they head for the 8th time down in towards the braking area for the Melbourne hairpin. Remember, Aidan Hills, the race leader, number 8, has not been beaten as yet this year. 2 wins at Snetterton, 2 wins at Silverstone. He won the only race that took place at Brands Hatch. He's having to work overtime here to try and hang on to the lead of the race. But of course, it is his teammate from Hills Motorsport. It's the paying customer in reality that's in second.
It is indeed. So these two, you should imagine, will have a great relationship and will love racing this close together. But Aidan will be thinking, hey, know your place. Back down to second with you. And Aidan Hills, he's really being kept honest, because it's just one small mistake. It's just one little lock-up, and that's it. And James Cossins, he's proving that he's good enough for the lead, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's just set the fastest lap of the race. He might be in second place, but a 2-minute 4.069 is the fastest lap of the race that we have had so far. So they are turning their way down through the Craner curves, and James Cossins around the outside line at Craner is going to try both the outside line on the way at the top of the hill and the outside line at the bottom of the hill. Is it going to work? No. Aidan Hills still leads the way.
Yeah, and how close is James Cossins to the rear bumper of Aidan Hills? That's bravery indeed. But for the moment, they remain as they are. There's a bit of traffic for them to deal with. This time, Jasmine Sherrington, that they will have to work their way past as a duo. We've seen Tyler McAlpin has fallen off over the previous couple of laps. Declan Lee now up into 4th place. I don't know whether Will Morris managed to get the position changed by the time they got towards Redgate, but James Cossins looking to the inside of Aidan Hills on the brakes towards Coppice. No, falls back in line once again. Jasmine Sherrington still just that little bit further up the road. They will have to deal with that in just a few moments' time. Jasmine quick on her mirrors, fair play, sees the leaders coming and jumps out of the way. And now we see a little look by James Cossins, but decides no, discretion the better part of valour, still with just shy of 2 minutes remaining, so they will get another lap out of this, and James is running out of opportunities to take the lead away from team manager Aidan Hills. On the brakes in towards the Melbourne hairpin there, as far apart as they have been all race. Ollie Allwood is running around on his own in something of a secure 3rd place at the moment. Aidan Hills is closing him down, but he in turn can't afford a mistake by pushing too hard, as he's got Will Morris behind him. Behind that is Tyler McAlpin, who's under huge pressure from John Langridge. John Langridge dives to the inside of Tyler McAlpin, and that is where we see the change. John Langridge, we said, safe but steady, and he's carved his way through the order. He's going to be up into what is 6th place this time. Back over the line goes Aidan Hills, still being chased down by James Cossins. Ollie Allwood is next to follow. He appears out of the rear corner, and then we get the train. It will be Declan Lee that appears now, followed then by a very sideways Will Morris. Tyler McAlpin under big pressure from John Langridge, so those two swapped around and swapped once again. John Langridge now looks to the inside of Tyler McAlpin on the run in towards turn 1. It looks like Tyler's just somewhat down on power. He just hasn't got the legs in a straight line. Maybe something to look at through the break between race 1 and race 2 for the Miata Trophy. And a very big moment for Brian Chandler. Locked a brake, or just hit the brakes as he was on the painted pit exit tarmac. Somehow managed to keep the car under his spell and remains in front of Colin Bowsouth, who's got Alex Miller behind him. Behind Alex Miller, it's the 26 machine, that being Drew Fletcher. Drew, a pilot for EasyJet throughout the week, but loves to race on the weekends. And Alex Miller is doing what he can to defend, but also attack at the same time, because Colin Bowsouth not that far up the road, and in these wet conditions it's so tricky. You've really got to think about the move, and thinking about the move is James Cossins looking for the lead. Aidan Hills, his team manager, he won't want to take away the win, but at the same time he will. It will taste that much sweeter. Now looks to the inside on the run in towards the Fogarty S's, decides to hold station. He's got 2 more real overtaking opportunities, looks for the better exit, but Aidan Hills I think gets the better of the 2. And down in towards the Melbourne hairpin for the final time. It's still going to be Aidan Hills that leads from James Cossins. James has now got 1 final overtaking opportunity left available to him. That's in towards the final corner at Goddard. Slightly sideways on the exit was Aidan Hills, but managed to keep the car pointing the right way on the brakes for the final time in towards Goddard's. The gap is simply too big for James Cossins to close down, so it will be Aidan Hills with a fabulous victory, having taken the lead on the very first lap of the race, styling his way out to the final corner. It will be Aidan Hills that makes it 5 from 5 this season in the Miata Trophy. He picks up yet another win in the Miata Trophy. James Cossins over the line with another fastest lap of the race to pick up 2nd place. Ollie Allwood over the line now to finish in 3rd. Over the line in what will be 4th place, Declan Lee. What a brilliant drive that was from the very tail end of the order. Will Morris over the line to finish in 5th place. John Langridge in 6th. Tyler McAlpin over the line in 7th place, followed then by Jack Brewer, Brian Chandler and Colin Bysouth. It's then Alex Miller over the line to finish in 11th place, Drew Fletcher in 12th, Nico Stott in 13th place. It will be the number 28 over the line next. That being, I've got it down as Jack Hodges. Yeah, Jack Hodges over the line to finish in what is 15th place, followed then by the number 2 machine of John Robinson, who had a rather busy race. Kamal Kelsey over the line in 17th place, followed by the number 11 of Chris Dawkins. We've just seen flash over the line David Chapman, and to round out your top 20, it's going to be the number 84 of Ben Taylor, who started in 28th place off the very back of the grid with a couple of rows margin. He managed to get inside the top 20 to 20th place after 20 minutes of racing, side by side over the line. That was close. We see the change on the very final lap of the race. Was it, or was that some traffic maybe to be dealt with? I think it was just a bit of traffic, because we've already seen Dylan Stepney and Jasmine Charrington over the line. Ed McDermott should be just picking his way through the final couple of corners now to come through and take the checkered flag after a brief spell in the gravel. Ian Abel over the line to finish in 25th place. He was chasing down David Newick, but couldn't get there, and David held on to 24th. Ed McDermott through the final corner now, but there you go, some confirmed or some provisional results for you. Aidan Hills taking the win by just 0.4 of a second as a pair, 14 seconds clear of Ollie Allwood. Declan Lee, after starting in 5th, down to 28th, back to 4th. The Declan Lee, what a brilliant drive that was from him. Will Morris 5th, John Langridge 6th, Tyler McAlpin finished in 7th place. It was then Jack Brewer and Brian Chandler 8th and 9th. And to round out your top 10, Colin Bysouth, the fastest lap of the race, a 2-minute 3.418, went the way of 2nd place finisher James Cossins, Alex Miller in 11th, Drew Fletcher 12th, Nico Stott in 13th. It was then Will Powell, the number 25 machine of Will Powell in 14th place, Jack Hodges in 15th. It was then John Robinson to finish in 16th place, Kamal Kelsey 17th. Car number 11, Chris Dawkins finished in 18th. Car number 19, Apley, 19th place, David Chapman. And car number 84, that being Ben Taylor, who rounds out your top 20. No retirements, we love to see it, especially in these conditions. Mark will be getting rather soggy down there in the pit lane, and hopefully we can grab a word with our top 3, maybe even our top 4, if we can sneak a word with Declan Lee. But we are on a schedule. We do have another live stream on the way to take into account as well. A 5-second time penalty, apparently, for a treble line. I think that's TSL just running a quick test on the LED board over the start-finish line. But what a brilliant way to open the weekend of racing, and what a fabulous advert that was for Miata Trophy. And I think we are just going to sign out straight away, I believe. I don't know whether we're going to have the chance to have a word with any of our drivers, but at least from myself, Jack Werrell up here in the commentary box, and Mark Rowell, who joined me throughout the race. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later on this afternoon at around about quarter to 4 for the second of 2 Miata Trophy races.